Welcome to chapter Who Gives a Flying Fuck of Memoirs of a Deliriously Tired White Male. How are we all going? It's 9 p.m. I've been up for too long, and as you can tell by my previous statement and perhaps my mood and my general demeanor, I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit delirious, but that's okay. It's because I've been up. I've been working hard for you guys. Today, I just pretty much dedicated a whole day to just nailing trending trash. Actually, not a whole day. I had other shit to do. But I spent the majority of the day either writing, researching, then filming, and then I've also done a bit of editing on trending trash. So that should be up in the next few days. I need to stop being a perfectionist with all this shit. Like, I pumped out that hat video in a day, which you could probably tell. I'd written it, but I'd filmed it and edited in a day, and I think I need to start doing more of that kind of stuff just to get my consistency back. And it was awesome to see everyone really liked that video anyway. I was like, oh, is this as funny as my other stuff? People seem to like it just as much, so I think I'm gonna maybe get back to the roots of uploading more regularly and stuff. I just had a bit of a phase where I was being like a sassy teenager for no reason. I was like, I just don't want to. Okay, Mum, just stop trying to make me put out dick jokes online. And I just, went to my room, slammed my door, and listened to Avril Lavigne because that's what actually that's what's sad. That was pretty much me when I was 15. Less Avril Lavigne, more Fall Out Boy, but the point stands. It's still sad as shit. Anyway, how are you guys? Okay, I'm well. I've been talking about myself a lot. You know what? This podcast is it's a lot about me, but not enough about you guys. So I'll just give you guys a chance to say what you wanted to tell me your thoughts, and then I'll come back in. So here's your guys' chance to vent and tell me what your thoughts are. Alrighty, back to me. That was a good joke, everyone, wasn't it? You can't tell I'm running off like 4 hours sleep at the moment, can you? Not at all. What's the best thing I've done this week? Let's talk about that. This was not the best thing, it was just the weirdest thing that's happened to me all week. I went to a food truck festival on Saturday night, and if you've never been to those food truck things, it's kind of like you have drinks and there's vans and they cook really expensive, overpriced food. Like, they'll give you half a portion of food. Even if you order 100% of a meal, they will not bring it to you. Like, if you walk up to the van and be like, hello, good sir, gentleman, chap friend who works in a van, could I please have 100% one full hot dog, thank you. That's 1.0 hot dog. Just one hot dog, not 0.75 of a hot dog, not anything less, but one hot dog. He'll be like, no worries, good sir. Actually, no, he'd probably be Italian, so he'd be like, no worries, good sir. And then he'd be like, sir, for your one full hot dog, could I please get in return diamond rings, gold bars, and Gucci belts? And I'll be like, no worries, good sir. Wait, no, I'm not Italian. Oh man, I'm tired. I'll be like, yes, okay. And I hand him all that shit because, it's a food truck festival and I came prepared. Like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not rocking up to a food truck festival without taking out a mortgage, okay? Because then I won't be able to eat that night. So, I hand him all this shit and all this money and whatever. And then, he'll be like, and that'll be 20 minutes, sir. And I'll be like, no worries. Thank you very much. And, I wait 20 minutes and I'm like, oh, that's strange. It's almost hot dog time now. Looking forward to my one full hot dog, because that was the deal that I made for handing over my entire wealth and my inheritance for this hot dog. And then it gets to about 30 minutes, you're like, wow, where's this hot dog? They must be doing 1.5 hot dogs, even though I ordered one. And I'll be like, oh well, I'll probably get extra. And then it gets to around 40 minutes of waiting at the food truck festival, and you still don't have your hot dog, and you're like, whoa, imagine maybe they're cooking 2 hot dogs. And then it gets to an hour, and you're like, all right, I'm suspicious now of this Italian man. Come to think of it, he looked too much like Mario and Luigi combined, and I don't trust him, to be honest. I don't trust him. I only trust him, jumping over mushrooms, and you know what, he was probably high on mushrooms. So I'm going to go and confront this Italian man. I'll be like, hey, Mario, Luigi, whatever your fucking name is, so it's probably Wario. What's the other guy's name? The purple, is it Wario? The evil guy, whatever, he's him. Okay, the evil guy from Mario Kart. I'm gonna look it up now. See, this is unprofessional. If I recorded this during the day, there's no way I'd be looking this up. Wario, I'd probably know it. Wario, yep, it's Wario. Okay, jeez, he's a little fat tubby, isn't he? The one with the purple braces on. God, he's a porker. Oh, if he was a bird, he'd be Peter. Sorry, that was a callback. If you're new to the podcast, firstly, don't listen to this episode first. Go back. Actually, look, I'm not sure if any other episode's going to be less weird, but they certainly won't be as delirious and as poorly planned out. But where was I in the story? Anyway, so I go back like an hour later, or I'm up to an hour and a half now, whatever. It took ages, and it's one of those places where they give you a little buzzer. You get the little buzzer and it goes bzz, bzz, when your food goes off. I don't like that, by the way. Because firstly, when my food goes off, eventually, I think I'm getting a call. So I get excited. I'm like, oh, I've got friends. And then I look in my pocket and it's just the food buzzer. And I'm like, oh no, my friend's a hot dog. So that's the first reason why I don't like those little buzzy things. And then the second reason is I don't like the service. I don't like the fact that I have to come back and then retrieve my food. You cook me the food, bring it to me, find me. They do it at cafes, like, oh, what table are you, sir? I give them my table number, they come back with the food. That is what I call customer service. That's the right interaction to have at a hospitality place. Whenever you're buying food, because otherwise I'd eat at home. Okay, if I wanted to be bought, if I wanted to go retrieve food, I'd just cook myself a toasted cheese sandwich. I wouldn't be out at this food truck festival. But instead, this buzzer goes off my pocket like an hour and a half later from old buddy Wario, and I walk back, right? And, he's like, there, so he goes, sorry for the wait, sir, there is your hot dog. And I look at the hot dog, and I'm like, oh, he's made a mistake with the order. He's cooked me half a hot dog. And I'm like, sorry, I ordered one full hot dog, Wario. And he's like, what do you mean? That is one full hot dog. And I'm like, no, that's half a hot dog. I don't know if you've ever seen a hot dog before, but, if it's smaller than my dick, that's fucking half a hot dog, okay? Because, yeah, I'm white. But I'm like, so I keep arguing him, and then it just becomes an argument about my dick. And then it's like, what do you mean your dick is that small? I made my turn, I got the big cock, okay? My cock bigger than 3 hot dogs. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, oh my god, this is getting nowhere. And so then you leave really disappointed, and you eat half a hot dog. And usually, if you've ever been to one of these food truck festival places, you always end up getting a kebab on the way home, because or Macca's or anything else but the food that you bought at the food truck festival. And by the way, I'm going to say that story didn't happen. I didn't get a hot dog. I think someone else got food. I don't know. Anyway, I'm very delirious. I decided to make up a story about... No, I didn't say it was a real story. It was a story proving my point of how shit food truck festivals are. And I think it did a damn good job. So next time you're at a food truck festival and you see fucking Wario cooking you up half a sausage, alright? Tell him you know what's up. Be like, hey, I listened to this podcast. He warned me about you. Cook me a full sausage. You know what? Maybe order 2, because then you'll get 1 full. But then you'll have to pay, like, I don't know, you'll have to take out a trust fund or something. I don't know how you're going to afford 2 hot dogs at a food truck festival. Anyway, an actual thing that happened at this food truck festival was, there was a store, I'm going to look it up actually. I think it was called... Hang on, I'm going to look it up because I want to get it right, because I want to throw them under the bus. Alright, I'm back. I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to pull the trigger and absolutely go to town and roast a store that roasted me. Now, I've got to explain, okay? That's a pun, but it makes no sense at the moment. So, on Saturday night... by the way, if you're a member or staff member and or manager of Flamin' Good Chili's right now, Flamin' Good Chili's food truck, run, okay? Because... it's going to get bloody real in a sec, and you probably know why already. So, Flamin' Good Chili's is a food truck stall that serves up, supposedly, the world's hottest dim sim. Now, I had a chat with a friend. I got there later on. I had a few mates already there, and I was like, so what's on offer? Have you got any recommendations? There was a big line for Mr. Burger, as there often is there, so I was like, alright, I'll just, I'll try somewhere new. And my mate was like, oh, I just had these flamin' hot dimmies from Flamin' Good Chili's. And I was like, oh, sounds great. And then I was like, oh, so how hot were they? Because I'm white, I don't do, like, I'll do a mild curry and I'll be absolutely foaming at the mouth. Okay, so I'm like, I'm not going to do anything ridiculous here. I've got to, this is memoirs of a low melanin and poorly spiced, experienced hominoid. Is that, I don't know. Anyway, I don't like spice. So I was like, how hot is the dimmies? And he goes, oh no, it's just the sauce. So the sauce was so hot that they had to apply the sauce to each dim sim, 1 drop per dim sim. That's how hot this sauce was. They were applying the really hot soy sauce, the flaming hot soy sauce, with eye droplets. So you know those little syringe things they use to put eye droplets in, and then you squeeze out a drop one at a time. One drop of sauce for one dim sim. Now that's some hot sauce. So if you did a shot of this sauce, you'd probably die. Like, I guess, or you'd be hospitalized for sure, and you'd probably burn your throat out. I don't know what would happen, but anyway, one drop of sauce, and my mate had this sauce, right, and he was like, holy shit, mate, they were flaming hot dimmies. And I was like, okay, so I couldn't be bothered to wait. That conversation happened. Half an hour later, I went to get food. Emily got some fucking, vegan dumpling or some shit. She waited probably like an hour and a half, similar to the Wario story that was made up, but she actually waited like an hour and a half for 10 vegan dumplings. I was like, last time I checked, I wasn't a little bitch with no friends, so I was like, I'm not gonna wait an hour and a half for vegan dumplings. So I went and got some flaming hot dimmies because there was no line, and that should have been the first sign, right? That should have been the first sign of, like, everyone else had a line. I didn't even queue up. I just walked up to this guy, and he was like this Greek guy. He's like, hey, go on, mate, do you want some flaming hot dimmies? And I was like, yeah, just 3, man. He's like, yeah, us 3 for 5. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cheap for a food truck festival. So I got these flaming hot dimmies, and I was like, oh, which one's the normal soy sauce? I don't want the hot sauce, because, you know. And he looked at me. He pulled away the hot sauce, like the really hot one, as soon as he saw me. He saw me get coins out of my wallet and was like, fuck, this guy's white. And then and then he pulled away the hot sauce. He's like, yeah, there's the normal soy sauce, man. I was like, awesome. What an exchange. So good. I'm eating an hour and a half for everyone. I'm having the time of my life. I got a beer in one hand, dimmies in the other. So I put the first dimmy in, and holy shit, it wasn't the sauce that was hot. The sign was correct. They were flaming hot dimmies. Now, I should also mention, the sign said these were the world's hottest dim sims. Now, obviously, you see stores like, oh, this is the world's best coffee. No one's, adjudicating it. No one's checking. No one's fact-checking if it's the world's hottest dimmy. But goddamn, it was a hot dimmy, okay? It wasn't the sauce that was making it hot. It was the actual dim sim. I had heaps of chili in it. And I ate the first one, and I was really hungry, so I just put it all in my mouth and just started chewing it. And by the time, I couldn't spit it out because it was just mush by then, and I just had to swallow it. And hot damn, beer does not help. I just needed milk. And I was like, I started like, when you get like you get sweaty and then like you start like salivating a bit. And Emily was like, what's wrong with your face? Because my face was probably like spasming. And I was like, I just ate a really flaming hot dimmy. And then she had like a teeny bite and she was like, nah, fuck that, I'm out. And she didn't want the dimmy anymore. So I had 2 dim sims left and I was like, I really don't want to queue up again for food. I could just eat this flaming hot dimmy. And I was like, I ate another one and then gave another one to my mate. Because my mate wanted to try one without the hot sauce. And he's wogs, so he was more accustomed to the spice. But even he was like, shit, goddamn, that's a hot dimmy. He's like, oh, goddamn. No, he doesn't talk like that. But he was like, goddamn, that's a hot dimmy. And I eventually finished it. And like 45 minutes later, my mouth was tingling. But not like hot tingling. By 45 minutes later, it was like having a fruit tingle. So it was just a buzz. It was a real hoot after that. But anyway, so cut forward to the next morning. I had a few drinks on the night out. As you go to bed, wake up, bit sloppy the next morning, and I thought, it's time to pay the restroom a visit. Time to go have a bit of a sit on the toilet, and let's evacuate some of last night's mess. That's I'm not gonna. Obviously poo talk, it's a bit unsavory, but I was like, I'll go in there and I'll crack one out. And, I thought those dimmies were flaming on the way in. Holy mother of God, they were flaming hot on the way out. It was almost unbearable. And I'm not talking, so I had to give up, right? The first time I went to go, I got a bit out and I felt the pain of the flaming hot dimmy. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's allspice or if it was just this dim sim, but holy shit. My asshole got circumcised by a flaming hot dimmy. And I can't even describe to you how much pain it was. It was one of those things, where like something's hurting, you're like, I want it to stop. And wiping didn't help, and nothing helped. And then for the next 20 minutes, I couldn't sit down. All right, I I had a flaming hot dimmy in my stomach and a flaming hot asshole. And I don't know why I'm telling like over 1,000 people this. This is why no one's... I don't know. This podcast keeps growing and I don't know why. And then I was like, 3 hours later, I was like, man, I need to go again. I need to try and get this out. And it was just as bad. And the whole day, I was just... I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but I just want to complain. Whoever that guy was who sold me that flaming hot dimmy, firstly, props, like, congratulations. I felt like I was spawning Mordor in my asshole. Like an orc was just going to pop out and be like, good, eh? Like... Oh man. Anyway, that's enough of poo story. I had that kind of ruined my night. You know, it was really quite heartbreaking. It happened as well at the food truck festival. So I was already going through like a traumatic white boy experience of having to eat something hotter than like a chicken teriyaki or a pad thai. And those aren't hot meals, by the way. I'm just accustomed to a mild tongue, and because I live a very cushy life, particularly with my palate. My palate lives a very reserved lifestyle. I'm not that adventurous when it comes to exotic foods. You know, guys, I like a parma. You know what I mean? I like a parma. I like a donut. Sue me. I don't care. I've been judged enough. Like, I've already confessed to shitting lava on Sunday morning, right, on this podcast. I'm an open book now, right? So I'm sitting there in the food truck festival trying to deal with my salivating, foamy mouth, and I'm just like, man, if nothing else goes wrong, it's an alright night. I've just had a bit of a blunder with a flaming hot dimmy. I'll pick myself back up. It'll be fine. And I turned to one of my best mates since grade 3. So that's about 12, 13 years of solid friendship. I mean, we're the type of friends who we've smashed bacon together. We've smashed parmas together. We've bonded a real true friendship over a love for mutual food. Oh, do you want to go get fish and chips? Yeah, let's go, kind of thing. So I've turned to my mate and I was like, hey, do you want a bit of my flaming hot dimmy? And he was like, oh, is there meat in it? And I was like, no. Of all the nights. No. Stop. Okay, his name's Stefan. He's been publicly shamed now. I was like, no. Okay, Stefan, what? And he knew straight away. He's like, oh, he's onto me. And I was like, why does it matter if there's meat in it? And he's like, oh, no reason. I'm like, of course there's meat in it. It's a dim sim. And he's like, oh, and he couldn't even say it. And I was like, man, if he says vegetarian, and I was like, don't say it. And I'm like, are you now a vegetarian? And he's like, no, I'm a vegan. What? 12, 13 years of friendship. I've eaten bacon and eggs with this bloke. We've shared the vegan sin kit, like on a plate, just chicken fetus and baby pig, and enjoyed it. And he turns around to me and says, is there meat in that flaming hot dimmy? I'm laughing because it helps the pain. But, like, and you know what? I think he might even listen to this podcast. And, Stefan, if you're listening, look, he knows. He knows it's shameful because he was ashamed. He walked away. He just went, yeah, I'm really sorry, and walked away. And he'd been hiding it for 4 months. He's been a vegan for 4 months. Just, I'm going to eat some... I don't even know what you eat, like some veggie burgers and some tofu, and then never tell anyone about it. I mean, props to him for not announcing it to the world. Usually most vegans are just, like the fact that I didn't know about it's a rare vegan, but God, it was brutal. It was brutal here. So, if you guys have had a traumatic experience this week, lost a loved one, so have I. So... No, I still love him. He's still the best. But, yeah, mate, change your diet habits. That's not on. And the shit part is, he looks good as well. Like, he's looking really good at the moment. He reckons he's lost 6 kilos. And I was like, yeah. And I want to hate on him for it. But I was like, yeah, it's working. Good on you. Go have your little shit fucking... I bet you he invites people over to like, one day he's going to be like, hey, man, do you want to come over and have, some vegan spring rolls? And then Emily will be like, oh, have you got any vegan dumplings? I'll wait an hour and a half from Wario to bring them to me. Anyway, that's enough about the food truck festival. 20 minutes I talked about that for. I apologize. I don't. That was pretty banging stuff. For how tired I am, this podcast is not as shit as I thought it would be. All right, now let's talk about The Bachelor and the Bachelor Sweep, and because obviously it was the finale. The Bachelor's over, and if you haven't watched it yet, stop listening now because there's going to be spoilers, okay? From 3, 2, Laura 1, suck shit. You don't get spoilers, warning. I don't give warning to people. I hate that, look, warning, spoilers. Just don't, I knew, I was out the night that the finale was. I didn't watch it live on TV. I knew if I went on Facebook, I'd find out the winner, but I already knew who the winner was because it was pretty obvious in about episode 1 when the one good girl came in from a limo. And she's like, hi, I'm Laura. And I was like, oh, you're going to win it. And then they still did a whole season. And then at the very end, she won it. So well done, Channel 10, really. But they do pretty good at convincing you that it could be someone else. Like the Tara thing, everyone wanted Tara to win, but she wasn't going to win. She was too bogan for him. Did you meet her family? Even though they probably came off a bit meaner than they actually were, they were bloody Australian. Okay, I don't know if that was a good match. They'd call a sandwich a sanger. They definitely call a parmigiana a parma. Hopefully not a parmi. But they're probably that bogan where they're like, oh, both's acceptable, mate, as long as there's Napoli sauce and cheese on it. A bit of ham, you'll be fine. Anyway. Laura won, and look, it was pretty obvious. Good on him. I'm happy for Matty J. He was a bit boring. So, actually, I shouldn't be saying that about Matty J because he's actually on the podcast this week. Okay, wait, I can't. Okay, this is supposed to be a surprise. Oh, you might have seen already if I put his name in the title. So, the winner of the prize, as I announced last week, actually managed to get Osher Günsberg to call up the winner, Brody. Now, what happened was I haven't done a recording in a phone call for a while, and it's really hard to record phone calls from your phone to the computer, whatever. And sometimes I accidentally record one part of the conversation, and when I called Brody, I only recorded my half of the conversation. So it's just me talking to a guy who won, and you can't hear what he's saying. So I'm not going to play that phone call. So I worked out, I worked out where I stuffed it up. So lucky I gave a few more of you a call. Some of you who were entered in the Bachelor Sweep may have got a call. It was just 3 of you, I think. And because I had Osher Günsberg spoke to Brody. Now, Brody, who won it, had never actually seen an episode of The Bachelor. He didn't care who Osher Günsberg was. He was also doubting the fact that it was actually Osher Günsberg, which seemed weird. He was like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's your mate Lewis. I was like, dude, Lewis doesn't even know who Osher Günsberg is. Anyway, so I was like, all right, I'll call other people. Got Osher ready to go. Because Osher was kind of bummed that the dude didn't actually really know who he was. So I was like, oh, we'll call someone else. So I called Isabella, Megan, and Joseph. And I'll play the phone calls now from Isabella and Megan, because they spoke to Osher. And then Osher was like, hey, mate, we're doing, the press rounds this week. Do you want me to... I'm next to Matty. Do you want me to do one with Matty? We'll pass the phone over to Matty for someone. And I was like, oh, shit, all right. I was like, yeah, of course. So then we spoke to Joseph. Now, Joseph... Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Joseph is an absolute pleasure to speak to The Bachelor about. I'm thinking of actually getting Joseph. He doesn't know about this, but if he's up for it, I'm thinking about getting Joseph next year as a regular phone call on the show. Get him in as the Bachelor correspondent, because holy shit, that man knows a lot about The Bachelor, the ins and outs. I'm convinced he reads Women Weekly or whatever it's called. He reads I read some of the clickbait articles, trying to get a good read on the ins and outs on the show. But Joseph studies it like a religion. He opens up and bang, he's our conversation. That's why I want to play it separately to, Isabella and Megan. Their conversations were awesome. Here's them speaking to Osher Günsberg. And then after that, we'll have a phone call from Joseph, the Bachelor connoisseur, if you will. And boy, he's an expert. And he really, it's a weird conversation to listen to, the one with me and Joseph, because it's like two Bachelor nuts just going head to head, but we're both on the same page. It was an absolute treat. But here's the first conversation I had with Isabella and Megan. I'm pretty sure I called them at lunchtime at school. Well, actually, I'm definitely sure I called them at lunchtime at school, because they both said, it's lunchtime, I'm at school. And that's how I knew. And that's the kind of detective work that you can expect, throughout this podcast, and the kind of, effort that I put in. Anyway, let's go to the first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix and match the phone calls, because they both went for a while. So I've edited it down, just the good bits. So here is Isabella and Megan speaking to Osher Günsberg during the week. Enjoy.
Hello.
Hello, Isabella. It's Luke.kidgell here. How you going?
Wait, are you fucking kidding me?
No. Well, you must have been feeling confident early with Lisa.
Yeah, I did. I felt very confident with her earlier on. But
Yeah.
she friend-zoned herself.
But how did you enjoy the finale last night? Did you think Matty made the right choice?
Personally, I don't think he did. I think Tara should have won. I liked Tara. I thought she was funny. She was human. I just think he stuck with a Georgia lookalike, and that was unfortunate.
Yeah, you don't want to date discount Georgia Love after being dumped by real Georgia Love. Now, the reason why I'm calling you is we've actually got an Osher Günsberg on the line waiting. Did you want to have a 30-second chat to Osher Günsberg?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Holy shit.
What are you going to ask him?
I've got no fucking clue. Hang on.
Maybe ask him about his perfect hair, or you could ask him about his Australian Idol days.
Oh, yes, because of the whole Guy Sebastian thing.
Yeah, ask.
Should have won.
So what's going to happen is I'm going to call him now, and you're going to get put on hold for a sec, but then you'll be back in the conversation. So just hang tight. All right, I look forward to it.
So much.
No worries at all. All right, let's do this.
Hello, Osher speaking.
How you going, Osher? You have a very excited fan waiting to speak to you.
Oh, great. I love talking to fans.
Yeah, so her name is Isabella, and we'll just put you through.
Before we do, Luke,
Yeah.
Before we do, I wanted to thank you for letting me on your podcast. Now that The Bachelor's over, I don't really have too many things to do. So
No, you're right. Are you still waiting for Australian Idol to come back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to do something with his hair.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, I'll put you through to Isabella. Let's do it. Hello, Isabella, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Osher Günsberg, meet Isabella.
Nice to meet
Hi,
you,
Osher.
Isabella. How are you going?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well. You watched The Bachelor this year?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. How did you feel about how I did?
I thought you did very, very well. Like, you
thanks
to
very much.
me were the star of the show, to be honest.
Oh, that's great, Isabella. And you watched the whole season, did you?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think about his perfect hair, Isabella?
Styling is amazing for it.
You might be
Great.
surprised, Isabella, but I actually do it all myself.
Really?
Yes, I mean, hosting
Wow.
things is not my only talent. I can also do my own hair when I wake up in the morning, so...
Wow, that's a very big talent that you have.
Luke, I sometimes I struggle counting to 30. So
Yeah, we're well over it. You feel free to hang up, Osh.
Thanks, mate. I'll see you on...
How was that, Isabella?
That was pretty amazing. I never thought I'd talk to Osher.
He sounds very different on the phone, doesn't he?
He does. I was trying to figure out if it was actually him for a second. I was sort of like, oh. Hello.
Hello, is that Megan or Megan?
It's Megan,
Megan. How you going? It's Luke.kidgell here. What's up? I'm well. You entered the Bachelor Sweep competition, is that correct?
Yeah, I did.
And you had Simone. You're a bit unlucky.
I was.
Have you been watching it since, or did you just turf it out and, move on?
Yeah, I was like, alright, I'm done.
We've actually got a special surprise. I've actually got Matty J ready to go on the phone.
Right now?
Right, yeah. So I had to pull a few strings. Just asking him about his abs, his body, his why he chose discount Georgia Love.
I don't think I can say that.
You'll be put on hold for a sec. Chill out. Alright, you'll be put on hold. I'm calling him now.
Hello, Osher speaking.
You're actually Matty J now. Is this
that?
Matty J? That's the Bachelor.
Okay.
Right.
The guy that won.
The guy that was there from the start, choosing the girl. Have you ever watched the show, Matty J, that you're on? So you've got Megan, who's again.
You're throwing me in the deep end here. I don't know what I'm talking about.
What do you mean? You're Matty J. You should.
Oh, hang on. I remember.
All right, we'll put you through to Megan. She's very nervous about speaking to you. So let's see how it goes. Hello, Megan. Are you there?
Yeah.
Meet Matty J.
Hi,
Hello.
Megan. Meet you.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great.
So
Thanks
weird.
for watching the show.
That's alright. How are
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I'm a bit disappointed you didn't pick Simone because then I would have won, but that's alright.
Well, me and Simone, we had a little connection, but at the end of the day, I thought I had more of a long-term thing. Me and Simone, we had a little bit of fun when the cameras weren't rolling, though, so I'll give you that bit of inside information.
Oh, okay. Oh, look at that, juicy.
That is very juicy. That's an exclusive.
I got to give an exclusive to my good friend Luke.kidgell here, so that's just for
Oh,
you
look
guys.
at that.
But is
You
that
just
going,
made
is that
his
going
life
on the
better.
Oi, Maddie, why did you end up choosing a discount version of your ex? Yes, you can. Why did you end up choosing a discount Georgia Love?
Excuse me, Luke. I came on your podcast as a favour to you. You can't just insult the woman that I've fallen in love with, alright? I'm not. I did this as a favour to you, and I think that's incredibly disrespectful.
Whatever. Matty J's gone. How was that?
Did he leave? Oh, wow. That's so weird that they just hang up.
Yeah.
Was it friggin' Lewis?
So there was the chat with Megan and Isabella, and both of them, Isabella doubting that she was actually speaking with Osher, Megan questioning if it was Lewis. Why would I get Lewis on this podcast again? Lewis has been on this podcast enough. He's been on the bird watching. He's done too many shit memes. He doesn't... I was like, what... You know, and it was almost like they were accusing me of being disorganized and being like, oh, Luke doesn't have a prize, so he just went, oh, I'll get Lewis to... It's offensive that you don't think I could actually get Osher Günsberg on this podcast. Osher gave up his time to speak to these young girls who are probably big fans of The Bachelor, and they come back to me after he's hung up, doubting the fact if it was actually Osher or not. Thank you very much for taking the phone call, Megan and Isabel, but, you know, a bit of respect, okay? It was definitely Osher Günsberg. To prove it, that it was actually Osher, here's the phone call I had with Joseph, the Bachelor connoisseur. What a pleasure it was to chat with Joseph. He actually came second. He was the runner-up in the Bachelor Sweep. He had Elise, and, mate, as you're going to hear, he was pretty disappointed about the result, understandably. I mean, I think most of us were barracking for Elise, but unfortunately, yeah, she just couldn't get over the line. So here's me and Joseph talking about the result, and then look out for Matty J. Matty J comes in, has a chat to Joseph, and yeah, it was a really fun chat. Here it is.
G'day, Luke.
Whoa, Jesus. How you going, Joseph?
Oh, look, yeah, not too bad.
You were very quick on the trigger there. Yeah, you must be feeling upset.
Look, mostly disappointed more than anything. Like, Elise was a catch.
Were you surprised when Elise came into the game later on in the season?
Oh, I was so surprised. After the first week, I think she had maybe 10 seconds of airtime at a rose ceremony, and that was it.
Yeah, I wrote you off completely until about episode 8 or 9.
I was so disappointed on the podcast. You're like, oh, Joseph. I think, first podcast, you got my name wrong, and you said Elise.
What did I call you?
Like Joshua, like Kelfie or something like that.
That person's not even in the competition, so I'm just an idiot. Did you give yourself any chance last night when you were watching the episode, or did you just assume it was Laura?
I mean, I was trying to avoid a lot of the stuff that was floating around on Facebook about like who had won, but I saw like some stuff about Laura and Elise, so I still wasn't too sure. But it was about that time when it was about 2 minutes into her last conversation with Maddie, and I'd realised, look, she's there first.
I felt bad for her when she fell up the stairs, when she had a bit of a sook on the way out.
Yeah, so what? She was like walking up the stairs. I just thought she stopped and she just cried because like there was just her audio over it. They didn't like get her face on that.
It looked like she was taking a poop for a bit. You must have been devastated, especially because how would have you spoken to Osher if you had the opportunity? What would have you said?
Look, that would have been so good. But to be honest, Luke, you're the real prize here. So thanks for the call.
Oh, you're welcome, mate. I'm hardly the prize. I've got Matty J on the line instead as the runner-up prize.
Really? Oh, that would just make my day. I've got some choice words to share with him.
Are you going to be angry? I don't want to put him through. I don't want to put you through to him.
Look, if he's actually there, I'll be polite. But he can't hear this now. But he's put down at least for what like a half price Georgia Love, to be honest.
Yeah. Discount Georgia Love has been bandied around quite a bit, on the podcast and online. Yeah, so if you want me to put him through, I hope he picks up when we've organised for him to pick up. Would you like me to put you through to Matty J?
Congratulations. Do I believe all the stuff I've seen on Facebook about this? Because I think I saw an article last night saying that he was with a girlfriend that he left to be on The Bachelor and said he'd get back together with her.
You're pretty all over this. You've been reading Women's Weekly, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favourites.
Wow. Okay, I respect your, your involvement in the game. It's quite impressive. It almost puts me to shame. I think I'm a fan, and then I speak to Joseph, and I'm like, wow. All right, let's put you through to Matty J. All right. You're going to be put on hold for a sec, and then
no problem
and then I'll put you through to him.
Hello?
Matty, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to keep bugging you. You're probably busy today, considering it's the day after the Bachelor. You're probably doing a lot of press, but
Yes.
this podcast, we're quite big fans, and you've got the runner-up. So the person who had the girl who came runner-up, Elise. You would know who Elise is, obviously, because you dumped her on national TV last night. He wants to have a bit of a stern chat to you. He's not too happy about your decision. So I'll put you through to Joseph now, and prepare to cop a beating, Matty, because he's not a happy man.
Well, fucking bring it on.
I'll put you through to him now. All right, Matty, meet Joseph. And I'm going to say, Matty, Joseph isn't a happy man.
No, I'm not, Matty.
Hey, Joseph.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
So, Lewis, okay.
What do you
All
mean?
right.
It's Matty.
What?
Is it Matty?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Matty,
Well,
Matty,
J.
Matty, please confirm that it's you.
Yeah, it's me. What do you mean?
Oh, my God. All right. Yep, how is she then?
How's Discount Georgia Love?
Yeah, Discount Georgia Love, that's the one. I can't even remember her name. She's so boring.
I'm sorry, who are you?
My name's Joseph.
And you've just decided to talk shit about my girlfriend.
Yep, that's right.
Does that make you feel good?
Look, I don't feel as bad about it because I'm 90% sure this is Lewis Spears. But,
What makes you think it's Lewis?
I listened to his podcast. I've been to his show. I just know his voice well.
Matty, thoughts?
I'm Matty J. Matty J out.
All right, well,
no.
You heard it there first from Matty. We wasn't happy with you, Joseph.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Matty. Can I just ask, is Osher the real Osher, or is it,
I
mate?
haven't spoken to Lewis in years. But this has been great. Thank you very much, Joseph.
No worries. Thanks for the call, Luke.
Confessions of a Chalky Chump out.
See you later.
So that was the chat with Joseph, and once again, I cannot fathom, like, he was going so well, and then all of a sudden how rude was he to Matty? I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, I've pulled a few strings here. I've done a lot. I've risked a lot to make this happen, and then he kind of treats Matty like shit, and then accuses him of being Lewis Spears. Dude, Matty wouldn't know who Lewis Spears is, and and I kept on getting these allegations. Had a few, Megan and Isabel messaged me, after the call, and were like, oh, bullshit, that was actually Osher, and they were like, was it Lewis? And people are throwing on all these allegations, like, oh, was Lewis Spears pretending to be Osher Günsberg? Was he portraying a different person, an imposter? And I was like, why? Lewis Spears is a comedian, okay? He's a friend of mine. And more importantly, he's an artist, okay, with credibility. Lewis wouldn't lower himself to this type of shit meme just, because, what do you guys think? Oh, Luke probably asked Lewis because he couldn't organise the prize because he didn't have any clue what it was going to be. It's like a week before. Like, I guess, I kind of can guess how it would seem that way. And you guys know better than anyone that I'm above pulling those cheap stunts just for, it's just content. No, like, I'm not going to stoop to that level of getting my friend to pretend he's Osher Günsberg and Matty J. Like, they sounded, to Osher Günsberg and Matty J's credit, they both sound very similar over the phone. And, especially to Joseph, who legitimately named and shamed Matty J on the phone for being Lewis. Mate, have a bit of respect, alright? He's just come off, he's in a lot of heat right now. A lot of people weren't happy with the decision. And as you heard, Matty J wasn't overly happy with how you spoke to him, Joseph. So I'm going to call Lewis, by the way, who knows nothing about this situation. He knows absolutely nothing because, again, he was not in on this. So I'll call Lewis out of the blue right now, and let's see how him calling Lewis out of the blue and see how he responds to these ridiculous allegations that he was playing Osher Günsberg and Matty J for those phone calls. Absolutely ridiculous. I feel embarrassed that I have to even prove this. But anyway, I'll call Lewis right now. I've got the phone call thing set up. Let's hope he picks up.
Hey.
Lewis Spears, welcome to Memoirs of a White Guy. How you going?
Oh, great.
I just wanted to ask you, I've had a few allegations and a few people pointing fingers at you. How do you respond to allegations that you were portraying Osher Günsberg and Matty J in fake phone conversations during the week?
Who's Osher Günsberg?
He's the host of The Bachelor.
Oh, I don't really watch that show.
Right. So
Who's Matty J?
he's the Bachelor.
Oh, no, sorry, I'm nowhere near as basic as you, so I don't watch that show.
So it couldn't have been you.
No.
This is what I've been trying to tell people. I mean, originally, fingers were cast at me for faking Osher Günsberg and Matty J on my podcast. I'd never do.
Wait, you had Osher Günsberg on your podcast?
This and Matty J on the week of, dude, the day after the finale. Like, you know how they're doing all the press and stuff?
Sick. How did you organise that?
Fun.
Can you tell me in detail how you organised that?
Nah, don't worry about it.
Can you give me a step by step of how you got in contact with Osher? Like, was it an email or was it Twitter or?
I think there's some. It's always good to leave some kind of mystery because you don't want to give away the secrets of the trade, kind of thing.
Okay, I understand.
But say if you like were to, have pretended to be Osher Günsberg or Matty J, who would have even put you up to that? Like, I can't think of anyone who would have said, "Hey, Lewis, could you perhaps pretend to be Osher Günsberg or Matty J?" Because Luke can't get them for his podcast. Obviously, I could get them, but say if I couldn't. Like, who would even put you up to that? I'm not sure.
Well, that just doesn't really make sense because, I don't know why I would pretend to be them just to make an incredibly lackluster climax to a long competition. I don't know why I would do that.
It's almost like Luke couldn't think of a prize. Like, yeah, it's almost like Luke got up to the last week of the competition and was like, man, I don't have anything organized. What should I do? It's literally, I get from an outsider how it looks like I called up my friend Lewis and said, hey, could you be Osher Günsberg or Matty J? You didn't even know who they were, so that's impossible.
Well, look, if this were to have happened, like, obviously it hadn't, but in a parallel universe where that did happen, it would have been a massive waste of my time.
Yeah, and even like, and then say, okay, in a third parallel universe, I call you to then get you to explain the allegations, right? How much of a waste of time would have that phone call been?
Can I go? Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. Thanks.
See ya.
What did I tell ya? Wasn't Lewis Spears. We had Osher Günsberg and Matty J on the podcast this week. There you have it, guys. It's official. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Huge get for the podcast. Huge get for my career. Huge get for Isabella, Megan, and Joseph. And shame on you all for doubting it. So, everyone obviously listening is convinced, but just those three. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to the podcast, guys. Oh, no, I should probably do some questions. I'll do a couple of questions. I was going to wrap it up, but, I'm going to be a good bloke. That's not really being a good bloke, but, I'm just patting myself on the back right now for doing absolutely nothing. I'm literally just opening emails and reading them. It's not hard work, but it's what pays the bills. Julia said, this is a question. If comedy doesn't end up working for you, what is your plan B? This is a good question. And the honest answer is, I don't have one. Why would I, like today, I spent 16 hours working on content. Now I'm doing a podcast. I don't have a plan B. I don't want a plan B because I know if I have a plan B, if you have a fallback, it's great to have a fallback, but in my situation where this is like you do or you don't kind of thing, like I make it or I'm fucked forever, and it's scary, man. It scares the shit out of me every day. I look at my bank account and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But at the end of the day, I wake up every day and I just want to get up and do stuff. It's all I care about. It's the thing I love. And as soon as I deferred from uni, like I quit uni, I did 1 year out of year 12, and then I quit at the end of the year. From then on, I knew I would never go back and study, and this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I was literally going to do whatever I could to make this possible. So, last week I drove up to Geelong twice. I drove to Bendigo. I do whatever it takes. And I know this sounds a bit preachy, but like it's just to answer your question, Julia. There's no plan B, because if I have a fallback, I know for a fact I'm lazy and I'll fall back on it. So really, it's the constant fear of being homeless and a failure that kind of keeps me going, and also the love for it. And you know what else keeps me going? And this is going to get really sappy because I'm a bit tired, but it's you guys. It's the people who like my stuff. How sad is that shit? You people are the only reason why I wake up in the morning. And Emily, my girlfriend. I should have said Emily first. She's going to listen to that if she listens to this and be like, you dick. No, there's lots of reasons to get up in the morning, like dim sims, not flaming hot ones, just regular dim sims, Emily, and you guys. Yeah, those are the three things I love in the world. Mild dim sims, comedy. Anyway, that is my answer. That's the answer to the question, Julia. I don't have a plan B, and I don't want one, because as far as I'm concerned, in my head, like, this is how, I don't know if it's an arrogant thing, or I just can't see this failing. Like, even though there's a high possibility it will, I just can't see it. Like, I work too hard for it to not work out, if that makes sense. Like, I think if you work harder than anyone else, you're just gonna be more successful. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the most talented, if you're, the most natural. I just work harder than anyone else. I mean, like, Lewis works really hard. I would say, actually, he probably works harder than anyone else. But, he's a great person to have around me. And, again, he was working hard. He doesn't have time for these shit memes. But, I think just, I really admire people who work hard, like Kevin Hart. I think he's just, like, he's a huge motivation for me. He's come from nothing, man, and it's purely hard work. That's 12 hours a day. It's 16 hours a day grinding, waking up at 4 and getting shit done. And that's kind of, I'm not about waking up at 4. I like a good nana nap, but when I wake up, God, I get shit done. But yeah, so there's no plan B, Julia. I don't want one. I don't need one. And if you're going to pursue something creative, it's not for everyone, but I'd recommend that, because it means I'm literally going to do whatever it takes to make this work. And if it doesn't, I'm screwed. All right, I'll answer one more. This email is from Ryan. He said, "Hey Luke, you funny man. I love your stuff. Just streamed 40 hours of rambling on about shit." Oh my God, did you binge watch the whole... He binge listened the whole podcast. That's insane. Question for your podcast is what you should do if your shit smells like smoky barbecue sauce. This is not related to me. Bullshit. This is like if I sent in a message to a podcast going, "Hey, what do you do if you eat a flaming hot dim sim and then your asshole catches on fire the next morning, asking for a friend?" Oh man, Ryan's got smelly poo. Smelly, smoky barbecue sauce poo. And also, do you prefer tiles or floorboards? I'll answer that one first. I don't know why you've asked me that, if I prefer tiles or floorboards. I prefer floorboards, because you can slide with socks on. Who prefers tiles? Tiles suck. They're slippery and you can't slide well. So, definitely floorboards all the way, Ryan. And to answer your question about what you do if your shit smells like smoky barbecue sauce, see a doctor. That's messed up. What are you doing? Like, why are you messaging a podcast? Or search that shit on WebMD. Don't ask me, because I don't have a lot of experience. I have a lot of experience, like, if your shit is hotter than Jennifer Hawkins in, like, 2006, because that's some hot shit. But, I don't have a lot of experience in smoky barbecue sauce. I don't really eat a lot of stuff with smoky barbecue sauce on it. I'm more of a tomato sauce man. Again, this brings me back to being, like, the most generic guy on the planet. Like, what about if I am the most generic person ever? Like, Josh Wade calls me the home brand of people. Like, I'm pretty simple. Like, I'm the closest thing you can get to being a human fidget spinner. Like, that's how basic I am. Oh, anyway, Ryan, I would say my honest advice would be stop eating stuff with smoky barbecue sauce on it if your shit smells like it. Like, that's like I need to stop eating flaming hot dimmies. It's the same thing. Just, whatever you put in you is going to come out the next day. And if you're putting smoky barbecue sauce in, yeah, look, you know what's really worrying? If you haven't had smoky barbecue sauce and your shit smells like smoky barbecue sauce, it either means someone's force feeding you in your sleep, or your intestines having a barbecue. And either way, not good. Go see a doctor. Be like, hey, like what do you do in that situation? Do you walk in and actually take a shit in front of him and then get a fan and waft it in his direction? Or do you... I should do podcast delirious all the time. This is hilarious. I don't know if this is funny at all, if anything I've said in this podcast has been funny, but I'm having fun, so who cares? Like, do you waft it in his direction, like cop a whiff of that smoky barbecue? Or do you, like, shit in a bag and get him to smell it later? Who knows? I've never been in that situation. I'd say go see a doctor and stop eating stuff with smoky barbecue in it. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much for that highbrow question, Ryan. I'm always so impressed at the intellect of some of the questions that I get sent during the week. You guys never fail to impress me. Always asking me the big questions like tiles or floorboards and what happens if your shit smells like smoky barbecue sauce. But you know what? I make fun of that, but honestly, you wouldn't get the answers to those questions anywhere else. And that's what keeps people coming back to this podcast. So if you like the fact that you always get the big answers to the big questions, go leave a 5-star review on iTunes. I know I say it a lot, but it's awesome when people do. It really helps. I'm still trying to build this podcast. So also, if you have a friend who likes a shit meme, likes a bit of a rant, likes a bit of a yell, get him onto my podcast. Just tell him, pick your favorite episode of yours. I'd love it if you referred it to a friend, because that's how these podcast things kind of work. Like only so many people can, find out about this from the videos and stuff. It'd be cool. I find out about most podcasts by people telling me, actually. So if you wanted to tell a friend to listen to this podcast, that'd be really cool. So keep sending me questions. And once again, thank you very, very much. A sincere thank you to both Osher Günsberg and Matty J for being a part of the podcast this week. And thank you all very much for listening. I'll see you next week.